Hi, I really wanted to share with you my favorite feature of respondus, and what you're looking at right now is the start page in respondus and it's right here. It's the test bank network. So if you click on that, it's going to open this new box, and I'm going to realign it here so it's in our record window. So you can start with the search for a publisher's test bank. So if you know the book that you're going to adopt, you select that toggle and hit next, and it's going to open a new page in a browser window that's going to allow you to search for the book. This new page, it'll allow you to search for the book that you've adopted, either by title or author's name, keyword. You can search by publishers. So for this example, I'm just going to type in the name or the title of the book and hit search. And as I scroll down, I'm looking for the one by Boone and Kurtz, the 14th edition. And right here we can see there's a Boone by John Wiley & Sons, which is the publisher, and this is the 13th edition. So I'm going to have to scroll down a little bit, and here I have it. The Contemporary Business 14th edition by Boone and John Wiley. So what you want to do at this point is make a request. You need a password code to access this. So I'm going to click on the More Information and Test Bank Request, and here you see it shows the book again, and it asks you, have you adopted the book? Yes, I've adopted the textbook. Please send me the file code. I haven't adopted this book. We're hoping to adopt this book in the summer semester, and since this is the spring semester, I'm going to go ahead and say that I have, and I will pick U.S. Kansas. You can scroll down and pick Johnson County Community College. We are on the list. Then give your first name, fill out this information. And you can close this window, and it will you'll have to check your email. Go into your email and you'll get the code, and the next step will be to register the test bank using the code and password that is sent to you via email. When you receive your email from the publisher, it'll look something like this. I do want to mention that it takes a day or two. It kind of depends on which publisher you're using, as well as what day and what time you sent the request. This is an email from a previous request, and just so I could finish the recording, I thought I would show you this one. They all look the same. I've registered 3 test banks now. So you will need the information here. This is the file code, your password, and it'll give you your name, institution, and email address, and that needs to be entered exactly. And if you typed your name and the college correctly, it will be. So once you have that information, it also gives you instructions in there. But once you have that information, you're going to go to the Register Test Bank using file code and password, and hit Next. And you'll get a new pop-up box, and you just copy and paste your file code out of your email and into here. With each one, you can just select and copy it, and copy it and paste it right there. And you'll do that with each of them, and when you get all the information filled in, it will let you link to the test bank. And I'll show you, you have to have everything filled in for that button to become available. then you would just hit link to the test bank. I'm going to cancel out of this because I've actually already registered this test bank, and you only need to register it once for each computer you're going to use it with. Once you've registered it, it will immediately show here this select questions from one of the following publisher test banks. And if you have more than one, you can pick the one that you want to use. I'm going to pick the Understanding Business 9th edition by Nichols for this demonstration. And when you click next, it asks you, do you want to open an existing file? And you can, if you have a test bank that has a couple of the questions in it and you want to add to it, you can do that by opening an existing file you have in respondus, or you can create a new file. I'm going to create a new file and tell it next. And it asks you here to provide a name for the exam. So I oftentimes will say something like, I'm going to put chapter 4 and provide a brief description. In this case, I'm going to type MC, meaning I pick the multiple choice questions, or I type in all multiple choice questions. That just tells me what I imported. It says a file already exists with that name, please choose another one. Okay, I'm going to add the word example behind this, so it will let me do that. Once you have named it, it'll ask you to choose your test bank. And here is where I'm going to select my Understanding Business 9th edition. And it's going to ask me to choose a file. So in this case, I'm going to pick chapter 4 because that's what I named my file. You can see that all the chapters are listed there, as well as some bonus chapters. So I'm going to pick chapter 4. Now it's going to load. Now I can either scroll through here and manually select the questions that I want. I could read them given the level of diversity. If I wanted this one, I could click on it. I could go back and do that. The way I like to use it is the automatic. And so I'm going to click this automatic toggle button. And I wanted the multiple choice questions, and it shows me there are 128 available to select. So I come over here and I just type in 128. And that will select all of them. And I can add a points per question. I'll type 1. If I don't add anything there, it automatically, when it brings it into respondus, makes every question worth 1 point. And you can either insert into the middle of a list if you had opened a pre-existing file and you wanted to insert them in a specific place, or you can add to the end of the list. I'm just going to select add to the end of the list. And it takes just a little bit, under a minute, but it feels like a lot longer than that when you're sitting here waiting for it to copy. And now it's done, and it tells me right here that 128 items were successfully copied to the project. So at that point, I've done all I need to do in this screen. So I'm going to move this just a little bit so you can see it, and I'm going to click on the close button up here. And behind it, I am actually now in respondus. This is showing me all the test questions, and you can see I like this. They're labeled chapter 4 and then the number, and I'm just going to click on the finish. And it puts me into the edit screen, so if you wanted to, you could go through and edit at this point. But I just use this to upload my questions to Angel. So I'm going to select the Preview Publish tab. And if you want to preview the file, you can go ahead and do that. You can see each question and what the correct answer is, and you can use the next on the previous button to move back and forth between them. When I upload a file that I typed myself, I always check this because occasionally there's errors, but I have learned from using this technique I don't have to do the preview with the publisher's test banks, and I can just select the published Angel. This is amazing. I love this. And select the Publish Wizard, and it asks me, do I want to publish to a single course, or do I want to batch publish to multiple courses? So if you have 3 sections that you didn't merge and you want to batch publish to all 3, you can do that. For this example, I'm just going to leave it as published to a single course, and this information is correct, and I'm going to hit next. move this window into my, so it asked me to choose the course to publish to from this drop down list. You can see it's a substantial list. That's because I have a lot of courses in Angel. And I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to pick my Introduction to Business Source course. And you can create a new assessment. It's automatically toggled for you, and it says chapter, for example. And here it'll be automatically checked to apply random blocks to the assessment or apply the settings to the assessment, and I uncheck those and just click next. And then it asks me in my Introduction to Business Source course, in the lesson area there's a stock project, some discussions, exams, final exam folder, and I have an instructor's resource folder. That's where I want it to put this. So I'm going to click on that and click next. And here you can see it's adding the questions. It takes just a little bit, but much quicker than typing 128 questions in, I guarantee you. And right now it just said completed successfully, so I just click finish. And that's all there is to uploading 128 questions into Angel. I'm going to show you, I'm going to go back to the Start tab here and show you that now I like to put them in there as an individual chapter because that helps me when I create exams in Angel. But if you wanted to, and I go through this process for each and every chapter, so this time I'm going to do example for chapter 5, and I'll do and 6, and then do my all multiple choice. And what I'm going to show you is that you don't have to upload them one chapter at a time, although I highly recommend it just for the usefulness once you get it into Angel. So it remembered, since I hadn't closed it, that I was still in this textbook, and it's still on chapter 4, so I'm going to pick chapter 5 this time. Again, I'm going to click the automatic button. I'm going to go to the multiple choice, and I'm going to tell it I want all 156 until at one point. And again, I'm going to click on the add to the end of the list. Now again, it tells me there was 156 items were successfully copied to my project. Last time I just closed because I wanted to do it one chapter at a time, and I hit that button up there. This time instead, I'm going to add another chapter, and so I'm going to pick chapter 6 and select the automatic and tell it to add this 141 and tell it to add to the end of the list. Now it's going to add all the chapter 6 questions at the end of all the chapter 5 questions. You can upload the entire test data bank in one file if you wanted to go through and just keep adding chapter after chapter before you go through the process to upload to Angel. The process at that point to upload to Angel is the same. So it's your personal preference whether or not you want to upload one chapter at a time. Again, you'll get the same screen. I'm going to scroll down and show you that there's all my chapter 5, and there begins my chapter 6. And you can see right here I have 297 items worth 297 points, and I click finish. Again, it takes me to the edit page. I can go to the preview and publish, go to the publish wizard. Again, I'm just going to do the single course. Let me click next. I'm going to choose the same Introduction to Business Source course. I'm going to uncheck these and tell it next. And again, I'm going to put it in my instructor's resources, and it's just going to do it for me. And there it tells me it completed successfully, and I click finish. At this point, I am going to close out of respondus and go into Angel and show you what to do there. So now I am in my Angel course shell, and here is my instructor's resources folder where I told it to put those, and I'm going to open it, and here you'll see that there's my chapter for example that I uploaded, and here's my example for chapters 5 and 6 that I uploaded. So when I put the assessment in, it creates a database for me. So I'm going to go to the Manage tab in Angel, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to select the assessment question bank manager. And you can see that I have actually already uploaded all of these chapters, and that's why I had to change the names of them. This will be they will put them in order, and the test bank will look like this, QTI, QC, and I will come in here and I will rename. This is my chapter for example, and save that. And this will be my chapters 5 and 6. It always puts the new one at the bottom. Whoops. And click Save. I always go in there so I can just look at a glance. You can see I've done this, and oftentimes with the book I actually do Nick, which is Nicholas 9th edition, and then the chapter. And I'll open one of these up for you. When you open the big folder, it'll have another folder for the questions, and they'll load, and you can see that here's my chapter for example, my questions, and you can see that that is the chapter 4, and they're all there. So that's all there is to it. It makes it really nice. And if I go back to my lessons area, I can go into my instructor's resources, and at this point in time I can just delete this. And I'll do the same for 5 and 6. I'll just delete the assessment, but my test bank will still be there. And I can use it to create the assessments that I want to give to the students. And I'll go back in there to the Manage tab and show you that. Even after I've deleted them, they are still there. So I'll scroll down on my list, and then they are. Chapter 4 example and chapter 5 and 6 example. The folders are still there. The questions are still there. And now I can create any assessment I want with this database. And this is really amazing to me. It's the easiest way I have found to put my test questions into Angel, and I hope you enjoyed it.